I just feel like everybody believes that aging is just going to happen. It's going to be terrible. I'm wearing no makeup. My hair is pulled back in a ponytail. Sometimes I have a baseball hat on, and people are looking at me, and I'm like,
I mean, your
this.
arms, your shoulders, show us. You look like amazing. Wow. So I found you actually through Instagram, the reel that got viral. You talking about toxins and everything in the beauty
Oh,
industry. I generally admire you so much. I want to be you when I grow up. Tell us about yourself.
thank you so much. It's just so sweet. My name is Juliana Spaven. I'm known as Silver Highlights 1971. I'm 54 years old, and I am all about aging well naturally. Over the years, I wasn't always this way, but I have developed the mindset shift and really moving into the healthcare space and wellness and clean beauty and finding ways to really help my skin look its most radiant, healthy best.
Let me tell you, as a woman to a woman, you look hot.
Thank you. I want to look the most vibrant, radiant version of me. So that's what I'm all about. I think that one of the biggest things you can do is start to shift your mindset. There is so much negativity out there about aging and that it's going to suck and that you're going to be old and frail. But there is another story that maybe gets less attention that I am focused on. And it is that aging can be this vibrant journey into the very best version of yourself as you grow older. There are so many examples of women that I follow on Instagram that are in their 70s and they're just kicking ass. They're gorgeous. They're strong. They lift weights. They're just incredible. And they're so inspiring to me. And so that's my motivation because I'm like, I'm chasing that. I'm choosing to believe that I can age well naturally. You can really do so much to help your body be the very best version of itself so that you then feel and look your absolute best.
Yes,
So,
yes. The best advice is always learn from someone ahead of you. Anything,
mhm.
business, money, relationship, beauty. I was always like admiring women like Christy Brinkley, like Suzanne Summers. I mean,
And right, then, in my mind, it's not like, oh, she's genetically lucky. I'm like, she can do that. I can do this.
right.
And it's just, I'm like, if it's proof, if somebody's out there and that they've done it, that means that's a possibility that's open and available to me. So I need to just do the work and tap into that.
So, what does it mean to you aging well naturally?
We could talk about this for hours, is nutrition.
Right.
I know you're so big on nutrition, but I talk about this all the time because I'm like, listen, if your diet is, it consists of Coke and Cheetos, like there's no way your skin's gonna look good. There's just no way. It's just game over. You need to be eating like in accordance with what your body needs to thrive. You need to be giving your body sunlight. You need to be giving it walks in nature. I'm telling you, it's like you cannot build a beautiful house with crappy supplies. And that's exactly what you're doing when you're ingesting processed foods and toxic chemicals. Anyway, nutrition, sleep optimization. You're nothing without sleep. We all know that. Like,
Yeah.
you have to go one day without sleep to recognize how humbling it is when you don't have sleep, right? And movement. So important to move your body because your body wants to move naturally. And I know someone's going to jump in and say, oh, but my back hurts or this hurts. And I'm like, yes, but slow, gentle movement every day consistently will get you back to where your body wants to be. And eventually you'll be able to move again if you believe it and if you do it right.
What is like two ingredients that you really know that are bad for women that disrupts their hormones, especially?
Phthalates and parabens. It cripples your immune system. It messes with your hormones. We don't think about that. We just assume that the products, well, they're out on the market, so they must be good. But we are hormone machines. That's what sets our cycle. That's what allows us to, give birth, to carry a baby, regulates how we feel, our skin. Everything is determined by hormones. There are over 10,000 chemicals in beauty care products today. 11 of them are banned in the United States. 1,600 are banned in Europe and in Japan. And we know about this. There are dry shampoo companies that have been sued for millions and millions of dollars because they've caused women's hair to fall out. There are so many products that have negative side effects, rashes, irritation. And that's my big call out on the beauty industry. Again, here's where you have to be your own hero and take action and advocate for yourself and start making smarter choices. It's why clean beauty is such a big part of my aging well strategy.
What do you see as the biggest misconceptions women have about aging?
Oh, well, I just feel like everybody believes that aging is just going to happen. It's going to be terrible. I'm like, really? I'm going to choose to believe something different, that like you're not going to be invisible after you turn 50. You're going to be amazing. It cracks me up. I'm 54 and I go to the gym and like I turn heads and I'm like, I'm wearing no makeup. My hair is pulled back in a ponytail. Sometimes I have a baseball hat on and people are looking at me.
I mean, your
This
arms, your shoulders, show us. You look like amazing. Wow.
but like, I choose what story you want to believe. If you want to believe that you're invisible, 100% you will be. I am choosing a different narrative, and like every day for me is like a little gift that it's going to unravel, and I'm going to see what happens today. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. So it's that mindset and shifting from my best days are behind me. That one I cannot. When my friends, they want to go through remember when we were, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about yesterday. I want to talk about what we're doing next year. I want to get excited about the future, not about the past. So
Yeah.
those are the big misconceptions about aging, I think. And I think that mindset keeps me young. If you're constantly looking forward to something, if you're versus just staying stuck in the past, and that's not to take away from, like, I've had some crazy and amazing adventures in my life, but like, looking forward and thinking my best days are ahead of me is just such a powerful mindset, because you're like, all right, well, let's go make that happen.
Wow, I can relate. I mean, I think I don't know you, but with age, I feel younger. I have more energy. I know more. I just like grateful every single morning. I woke up, I opened my eyes, I did the Wim Hof breathing, and I'm like, thank you, universe. I'm winning. I'm alive. I'm healthy. Like, I have everything I need in my life.
I am laughing because this morning on my walk with my dog, I was doing the Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah, I do every single morning. I don't know, it makes me feel so good. We do need oxygen. We're constantly in the fight or flight, work, relationship, business, money, kids, everything. Like, we need to actually really take time, at least 5 minutes a day. Deep breathing is so good. Let's talk about nutrition a little bit. You are very open about prioritizing protein, collagen, and whole foods. Why do you think nutrition is such a powerful level for how we look and feel midlife?
I don't think people realize like how much our food has changed in the last 60, 70 years. My mom and my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, when they were growing up, there was raw milk in the stores with probiotics in it, and, bread that went bad in 2 or 3 days. You bought it at a bakery. You knew where the meat came from. You knew the butcher. That's where you got things from. We have industrialized our food complex in the United States, and everything now comes in nice, neat little packages. We kind of just assume that it's healthy because the label says it's healthy. And then you turn around the back of the box or the package and you start reading the ingredients, and you can't pronounce 80 to 90% of those things. You don't know what they are. And the fact that they get away with calling that food, to me, is just, it like enrages me. So, when I was going through my 40s and started having perimenopausal symptoms, and I mean, it was bad. I had brain fog. I was irritable all the time. I was snapping at my kids and my husband. Every part of my body hurt. I was inflamed. I was gaining weight. I was angry. I finally just was like, I made up my mind. I was like, I can either, this is status quo and this is the way it's going to be going forward, or I can change. And it all starts with me, right? So I started on a radical elimination diet. And, that really taught me, oh, if I'm taking these things out of my diet, and I started feeling really, really good very quickly. I was like, wow, if I'm taking these out of my diet, maybe I shouldn't put them back in. That really started the whole process of saying, wow, I really am responsible for how my body feels based on what I put into it, right? Not just the skincare, but the actual food, because so much of our bodies, like our composition and everything comes from the food we ingest and the water, the type of water that we drink. So that started me in on what is the optimal food for me as a woman. Midlife, what can I be eating to optimize my body and to feel as good as I possibly can for my age? A whole bunch of podcasts and books and lectures and all kinds of courses and all this kind of stuff landed on, optimizing protein, always being protein forward with every single meal I have. I always secure the protein on my plate, and then I figure out what the other things are going to be on my plate. But protein first, and I aim for 30 to 40 grams per meal of protein, and then dietary fiber. And, and it's not fruit. It's, looking for salads and greens and vegetables. And, the more rare the ingredient, the vegetable, the better, because I'm trying to give my gut microbiome a variety of different vegetables. Yes, fruit is a dessert. I took sugar out of my diet about a year ago. It was hard breaking up with sugar. I do not miss it. I do not. I know that sounds crazy, but I do not miss it. And on the occasions that I have sugar, it is immediate. I can feel it immediate. The brain fog comes right back. It was my son's birthday the other day, and we got this great carrot cake, and he's like, Mama, you're going to have a piece. And I was like, of course I am. And I had a piece. And I like the next day I was like, oh my God. Where did I put the car keys? Did I put the dog in the kennel? I can't remember. Where's the dog? I mean, it was nuts. I was like, it was just such a great reminder that sugar and me do not mix. Alcohol. This is the one flag for so many women because they're like, life is so hard, and at the end of the day, I'm going to reward myself with a drink. And I'm like, you're making things so much worse for yourself. And once you take it out of your diet, you realize that and you're like, oh, I do feel better. Oh. Now, I think never is a very long time. So I'm not one of these people who are like, it was going to come out and say, never, never, never have alcohol, but the consistent Juliana who used to have 2 or 3 high noons a night before going to sleep, that woman has left the building a long time ago and she's gone, plus all the high fructose corn syrup and the high noons. No. You can really start to fine tune things about like optimizing your liver and, your gut microbiome and that kind of stuff. But if you are eating real foods, prioritizing protein, getting your fiber on your plate, fruit for dessert, you are crushing it. It is 95% of the work. Your microbiome over 2 to 3 months is going to change dramatically. Your skin is going to glow. People are going to ask you if you had a facelift. I mean, it's incredible. It's literally incredible. My friends are constantly asking me, what cream are you? I'm like, I'm eating really healthy. I'm eating well.
What will someone should start eliminating? Few ingredients or items, what you will recommend?
Anything that comes in a package, comes in a box. Cereals, crackers, cookies, even pasta noodles. Look on the back. If you can spell the ingredients, if there's less than 7 ingredients, okay. Not like home run, great, but wary, maybe sometime. For everything else, shop the outside perimeter of the grocery store. Get your fruits and vegetables. Figure out how to cook them. I realize that a huge problem in the United States is that people don't know how to cook. Like that is missing in the American education system. I think it's a travesty that there's not fresh lunches at public schools in the United States and that it's largely fast food that kids are eating at school. It just enrages me. Stop going out to eat. Everybody thinks restaurants is like they're serving you great quality food. They're not. Everything's cooked in seed oils. They're using marginal ingredients. I know it. They're cutting corners to make profits. You're not going out to eat and eating quality food. You're just not. So like it's to the point now where it's like when we go on vacation, I rent a home because I know that the food I cook is going to be infinitely better than what I'm going to find at a restaurant somewhere. And I'm just like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. And you know what I noticed with everything, I agree totally. As a European, when I moved to the States, I'm like, why all Americans have all those big pantries, like walk-in pantries? I'm like, why do you guys need pantry? It's insane because in Europe, we don't even have pantry. There's no such thing because there's no cans, there's no chips, there's no candies or anything like that. Anything like in the box, in the package, in the can, we don't have such things. It's interesting how it's like culture very different. And even talking about ingredients, a lot of ingredients are banned in Europe that are allowed here. Even the same McDonald's, same Heinz ketchup, totally different ingredients, totally.
Yeah.
What's your diet look like?
Oh, so I will always, like my morning diet, I lean heavily on eggs. So I don't really do dairy. I'm one of those people who are dairy intolerant, but I am experimenting with raw milk and it's not like triggering my dairy issues. So it's really interesting. But I will, in the morning, I'll have 5 eggs and I'll make like an egg frittata with goat cheese and veggies like tomatoes and broccoli and things. I'll throw green beans. Usually we have that the night before a veggie for dinner. So I'll just incorporate those into my frittata scramble. And then that's my breakfast. And like maybe a half a cup of blueberries as a kind of a snack or a treat. And then I'm satiated. Lunch will be like a salad. I'm good for like 5 hours with that. But then lunch will be like a salad and I'll usually have mackerel or sardines because I love fish and it's so great for your skin and your bones and just all the things. And then dinner will be some variation of protein, whether it's chicken, fish, beef, pork, whatever. And, I will look for a healthy complex carb like sweet potatoes, really big in my house, or wild rice, also really big. And then some vegetable, whether it's steamed broccoli or something like that. And I keep that really simple. I have picky eaters. They're growing out of their picky eaterness, but my son is 9 and sometimes he kind of goes, I don't know what that is. It's kind of weird. I'm like, eat it. You're going to be fine. But outside of that, like that's what I eat. My treat at the end of the night is a cup of licorice tea, which I absolutely love. It's so great for your digestion, helps me fall asleep.
I'm curious, do you drink coffee?
I don't. You know what? I used to be really big on coffee and then I switched to matcha. And now I'm like, I love matcha. I'm like on the matcha bandwagon. It's really fascinating. And it's so like the medicinal benefits are just insane. Now, were you asking about the caffeine factor or?
Just caffeine, coffee, like overall, like I know there's a lot of information, good and bad, and just Generally, I know people that drink coffee all their life and they look really good, and some people, I think that's very like personal.
Yeah. So I am very sensitive to mold, and coffee is one of the products in the United States that for some reason they really don't regulate mold in coffee. So if I am drinking coffee, it has to be mold tested and 100% mold free. There are other people who are like immune to it, and it really comes down to what bugs are in your gut and what bugs are going to respond to whatever it is that you're feeding your microbiome. But for me personally, right now I'm going through this stretch of life where I cannot do mold in coffee. And so for the vast majority of coffee, and I'm talking Starbucks, McDonald's, Dunkin', whatever, it doesn't matter. If I'm on the road, I'm not drinking coffee. I will bring my own matcha or I will bring my own coffee, but I just can't.
Weightlifting, mobility, and stability, or holy trinity. Why are these types of movement especially important for women in midlife?
Yeah, this is such a great one. So, as we go through the perimenopause transition, you are losing estrogen and progesterone, and estrogen is highly protective. So, without it, it's a very inflamed condition in your body. You are also losing bone density and muscle mass. We know that. That's also the reason why you're losing estrogen depletion, is also the reason why you're losing collagen in your face and your skin. So, the best way to age well and age and thrive is weightlifting. And I am not talking about like 5-pound weights. I am talking about bench pressing 95 pounds. I am talking about like deadlifting at least your body weight. And if you can't do that now, that's okay, but have a goal and start to work with a trainer to get there. A lot of women just assume, okay, fine, I'll go do this weightlifting thing. I heard or read, I listened to a podcast or I saw something online. I should really lift weights. Okay. And then they go and they start lifting weights. And then what do you know? They're lifting heavy and then they pull something. If you don't know how to lift weights that are heavy, like you've never done it before, why would you know how to lift weights? This isn't like, there are certain movements that you have to do and you have to do them correctly or you will hurt yourself. And trust me, I speak from personal experience times where I was like, I got this. I know how to do this. I watched this cute little lady on TikTok. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to do it exactly and then I find myself like bedridden for 3 days. Don't do that. Like hire a personal trainer, invest in yourself, learn how to make the movements correctly the first time around so that you just condition that and you fire those neural pathways and you know how to do it right from the get-go and you don't have to unlearn bad behavior and movement. But weightlifting 2 to 3 times a week is astonishing for what it will do for your body. It's when you're doing a lat pull down and this becomes normal for you. You suddenly stand upright, shift, everything changes with your weightlifting it's so important, especially as you go through perimenopause, because the best way to stop that muscle and bone loss decline is to counter it with weightlifting. That's how you build muscle. That's how you build your bones back. The other two, mobility and stability. Nobody wants the woman who, in her 70s, is accidentally, walking into her house, misses a step and breaks her hip. But that is all too common. This is statistically proven after the age of 65. The best way to counter that is weightlifting and mobility and stability work. So whether you're, in small things, you don't have to carve out 45 minutes of your day to do stability work. While you're brushing your teeth, stand on one foot, challenge yourself in the shower, not on slippery tiles, but challenge yourself to balance, to, really kind of work your body so that you're building stability, that you're building mobility. Take a mobility class. There's so many of them on TikTok and Instagram that you can find, and they don't cost that much money. Really teach yourself how to do these movements because your body is very much use it or lose it. If you don't focus on stability and mobility and flexibility, you're going to get stiff, like 100%. Your body's like, oh, cool, you don't need this. That's great. All right, I'll channel resources elsewhere. And that's how it works. Then it hurts you. Like you're getting out of the car and you pull a back muscle and you're like, oh, So for me, like to be comfortable in my own body, I completely rely on the holy trinity, as I say, of movement.
I love that. I really do. A lot of people, you can start having those old symptoms even in your 30s. We all know some people in their 60s actually look physically better than people in their even late 20s. I love it. Okay, next question. Sleep is another pillar of aging well. What are your tried and true strategies for getting better rest during perimenopause and menopause? I love this.
Yeah, this is a big one. So, gone are the days where like you were in your 20s and you could have 4 or 5 cocktails with your friends, come home, crash completely at conk out at 1 o'clock in the morning and then wake up at 7 and go to work. Those days have left, the world for you. So you do need to establish a consistent bedtime routine. The more consistent you are, the more your body responds. I'm in bed between 9:30 and 10 o'clock every single night. I don't care if it's New Year's Eve. I don't care if there's a party. I need to get my sleep like Prioritizing sleep for me is everything. Limiting alcohol. I am nobody's friend when I say this, but I'm telling you, life without alcohol is just so much better. You wake up clear-headed. Like, you don't wake up in the middle of the night. Let's start there. Second of all, you wake up clear-headed and you've refreshed, and it's just, you feel like, oh, this is so worth it. Magnesium, huge. If you're not taking magnesium glycinate, that's something to add to your diet. It used to be that we got magnesium from the soil and that our fruits and vegetables would give it to us because the soil was so rich with magnesium. They've depleted our soil due to big ag and big farming. So you need to take supplements. And that is one that I swear by, magnesium glycinate. Sunlight exposure. Every morning, like, I wake up and then within 10 to 15 minutes, I'm outside looking at the sun. It's just, there's so much research out on the power of getting early morning sun into your eyes for 10 to 15 minutes and how that triggers serotonin, which is what wakes you up. And then later, serotonin produces melatonin, and that helps you go to sleep. I think those are my big sleep hacks for people.
Talking about supplements, what else are you taking? Magnesium glycinate, what else?
I take a vitamin C, then I take omega-3s, I take a vitamin D, I take a zinc. I am playing around with colostrum right now, but I think those are the big ones. And then for sleep at night, I take magnesium threonate. That is magnesium that crosses the blood-brain barrier, and that's really good for cognitive ability. So I take that. L-theanine. I think I'm taking L-theanine. Oh, the other thing I haven't mentioned, HRT. This is the hormones, as you're aging, when you're losing estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. Should you or should you not? I just wrote a lengthy blog post on HRT, things I wish I'd known. I am taking HRT. I do believe in it. I do think it really benefits women. The studies are out now, and it just shows the cardiovascular benefits, the heart benefits, the musculoskeletal benefits of continuing to take estrogen and progesterone and testosterone after our bodies have stopped producing them. The evidence is overwhelming. It's just so beneficial. So that is part of something that I take every day. I do take testosterone a little bit. It's not the reason, I'm not going to turn into a man and have a beard and all this kind of stuff. I just take enough to give me energy, to give me motivation, to keep me, stimulated and energized. And yes, it also helps with libido, but it's incredibly powerful for women, and it can be very transformative for women. HRT can.
Right.
So.
Talking about the skin and clean beauty, when it comes to skin, what are your non-negotiables for supporting collagen elasticity naturally?
Yeah. So again, I'm going to lean on, weightlifting. I forgot to mention this during weightlifting. Weightlifting is so beneficial for your face. Listen, when you're weightlifting, your body is producing fibroblasts, and fibroblasts are the precursor to elastin and collagen. So the more you weightlift, the younger you look. Plus, it helps you, it revs up your metabolism, and it keeps you lean and fit. So weightlifting is at the top of my list. Also, eating consistently, prioritizing protein, and taking vitamin C consistently. Those two are also super powerhouses that are going to help stimulate collagen and elastin in your face. Red light therapy and sauna. We invested in a red light sauna in our home about 4 or 5 years ago, and I use it almost every single day. I love it. And it's really, really beneficial. I mean, it was expensive, but I was like, look, I'm living to 105. So, this is an investment in me. And then derma rolling. Oh my gosh, derma rolling it's the thing I love to hate.
Tell us about that.
Because so I started derma rolling about like 3 or 4 months ago. Now I don't do facials. I don't know. I used to get them in my 20s and 30s. And then I kind of was like, I could steam my face by myself and apply all these luxurious masks. I don't even know what they are, what they're made of or what's in them. I can do that at home. I don't need to pay somebody, an esthetician, to do this. But I came across derma rolling. I was super curious about it. And so I started, and I was like, damn it, this hurts. But my skin looks so good.
Torture device. Yeah, I like that.
But it's true, and it's 5 minutes of me, kind of gritting my teeth and derma rolling my face and everything like that. But then it's within seconds. I can see how my skin, it just looked completely different. I mean, yes, it looks red from the blood flow and the activity coming on the surface. But the next day, I am like such an evangelist of the Gin Amber derma roller.
Oh, that's the brand you're using.
So I finally graduated. I was such a baby. I was using the 0.25, but now I'm using the 0.5. And I love this. It's weird. I sometimes think the 0.25 hurts more than the 0.5. I don't know. Listen, I've been through childbirth twice. Put it all in perspective, right? Women, we are just adapted to deal with pain. We wear high heels. End of story, right? But you can do anything for 5 minutes. And you would go to a salon and you'd spend hundreds of dollars doing microneedling in a salon. Or you could do this in the comfort of your home. I love this. This is such a great value, and such the results, I'm like, I don't know why I would ever stop derma rolling. The other thing I love is your oxygen. This is amazing. Because I first got my derma roller and then I was like, oh, how do I clean this? I don't know. So I was using alcohol, which probably like dulled the blades or whatever is terrible. But now I have oxygen and I'm a huge fan of that. Then some of your other products that I love, like the hyaluronic and the brightening, those are great. Those are fantastic formulations. So I love those.
Okay, what else are you using besides microneedling?
I love a good vitamin A or a bakuchiol, which is a little bit more milder if you have sensitive skin. I love that. I use a vitamin C. And then I'm always curious about clean beauty brands that are coming up with new formulations of products. So I will experiment and try different products on my skin. And if I really like them, I'll tell my audience about them because like I want to share the love. If something's working, I'm like, yeah, but you know, the basics, a great vitamin A and a vitamin C that can really help eliminate age spots, you know, dark circles, all that kind of stuff. Hyperpigmentation and melasma, that's vitamin C. And then a retinol to help you just with the lift and overall kind of making your skin look more youthful.
I'm curious, why are you not using tretinoin?
I think it's part of the retinol family and just the side effects of retinol. They're so abrasive and they're so irritating. And there's also BHT in retinol. So I don't know if it's in tretinoin, but that's enough for me to be like, listen, I'm just going to go the natural route and take vitamin A, which is much, much safer for your skin. It doesn't react, particularly to people who have sensitive skin.
Yeah, I do. I mean, 80% of populations, we do have sensitive or sensitized skin. It's just insane. Why?
Why? I think, again, it goes to the gut microbiome.
It's all connected. And then on top of that, we slather like retin-A every single day, tretinoin, like acid and everything. It's just like thins the skin. Like I personally can't use, doesn't matter how toxic it is, it just thins my skin.
Yeah.
I'm burned and irritated next day for the next like few days. And I'm like, I just personally can't.
Oh, and I forgot. The other thing I use is sunscreen every day. Doesn't matter what, like, you know, in the winter, it's snowing or rainy outside, whatever. I don't care. I do not start my day without SPF 50.
That's true. What's your evening skincare routine? Tell us. How does it look like on average?
Well, it's going to be a lot of those products. So I cleanse my skin. You know, I will use an oil-based cleanser to take off my eye makeup and just make sure my skin's really clean. Sometimes I double cleanse. I'll exfoliate as well to make sure that my skin is polished. If I'm derma rolling, and I derma roll twice a week for 5 minutes at a time, I will cleanse my skin and then I'll maybe spray with a hydrating mist. Like I've got this one here. This is Rose Blossom hydrating mist from Mukti, and it just helps to kind of give my skin a little bit of moisture while I'm derma rolling. And then from there, I will immediately apply a vitamin A because I know my pores are now open from the derma rolling, and I know that's just going to help with the absorption of that product into my skin. And then I apply a lot of oil-based serums and hydration, hyaluronic acid, and then, you know, other rich moisturizing antioxidant-based serums and oils into my skin, and I'll finish with a really hydrating moisturizer. I kind of go to bed like this, letting it all soak in an eye cream. And I wake up, I look at my skin and I'm like, oh my God, my skin looks so good.
Everything all together is great. And you use frownies, right?
And I'm a big frownies girl. Yes, I am. I love frownies. I started with frownies and fell in love so immediately and so quickly and so hard because I saw the effects in like 2 weeks. I was like, oh, that I never looked at any other products. So I don't know if any other products work as well. I'm just frownies for life, girl. I mean, they need to make t-shirts. I would buy one.
Tried a lot. Nothing works better than frownies. Don't waste your
I think I saw a reel that you did where you tried like 3 different products and you were like, does this one work? Does it like, and then you were like, frownies is the best. I mean, I can just feel it working. Like, you apply the cast, you let it set, it hardens, and then you can just feel it. And you're like, I mean, I'll like kind of knock on mine, but like, you know, it's strong and it really does help against my forehead lines forming, especially as I sleep, you know.
And to clarify with you, you do not have no Botox, no fillers in your face.
I don't. No, I used to do Botox and I gave it up over 2 years ago. So I can move my forehead in all kinds of ways now. Every once in a while, people comment and say, you know, oh, well, you know, your forehead looks so great because you did Botox and there's this residual Botox that stays in your, and I'm like, Botox leaves after 4 to 6 months. That's why you have to keep going back and getting more Botox. What you can see over time is just like a sagging of the muscles. That definitely is a Botox forehead, or if people have it done around the eyes. But I only ever had it done here because I have a really strong 11 line. And as you can see, frownies takes that away. And I'm just so pleased with the results. I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm like, better than Botox, honestly, you know, and I can move my forehead and it's not toxic and it's a fraction of the cost of what I was spending. I mean, I was $1,600 a year on Botox alone. And now I'm like $300 a year on frownies. I'm like, let's go.
I know, the same here. I used to get Botox and I'm like, how much money did I spend? The worst thing was, to me, it made my brows droopy. My eyes were looking smaller and smaller, and right now my eyes are so wide open. I feel like alive.
Yeah. And then I've never had filler. People accuse me of having filler all the time. And I'm like, no, this is cheek exercises. I do facial exercises, and really kind of work my cheeks. And I actually launched a facial exercise program this summer. Yeah, which is got 6 modules, and it covers your entire face and your neck and your overall posture, so that, because if your posture's off, it's gonna show up on your neck, and then that's gonna pull your jowls down and all this. So 6 modules that cover the entire face, and it's 10 minutes a module, and it's a great way to really lift and firm and tone your face naturally without surgery. It's just amazing.
Okay, personal connection. What's been the biggest shift in your own beauty or wellness routine since turning 50?
I would say cleaning up my diet. I mean, yeah, I'm going to take big W's for my overall appearance and for dealing with perimenopause symptoms. It all starts in the gut. So, if you see someone with glowing skin, you should probably go over to them and say, oh my gosh, your skin looks amazing. What are you eating?
Yeah.
So let's start there. And then there's a long space before we get to serums and creams and all that kind of stuff. I would also say prioritizing strength training over cardio. I was the cardio queen. I was like a marathon runner in my 20s and 30s. I love doing marathons. I was like, queen of cardio. And now I'm like, I barely ever run anymore. I take long walks at a zone 2 rate, and I lift. And, every once in a while I'll throw in a karate class for fun with my son and daughter. I really do lean into weightlifting. Being intentional about sleep, that's really important too, because I said earlier, we are nothing without sleep. Fatigue makes cowards of us all, and we are just such lesser versions of ourselves if we don't sleep. So just get your sleep. And then doubling down on clean beauty and non-toxic swaps, not opting for surgery. I think it really does help. I mean, I have people who come on my page all the time and tell me, oh my gosh, you can just tell you're naturally this way. Like you don't have lip filler. You don't, I'm like, yeah, I don't. Those are the biggest shifts.
If you could leave a woman with one piece of advice about embracing midlife confidence, what that will be?
I would say you are your own hero. Like no one's coming, like this is up to you. You have a choice every day. And I always say, choose your own hard. Like, I think it's really hard to age poorly. I think it's incredibly hard to age poorly. I think it's also really hard to go to the gym every day and lift weights and work with a trainer and you don't know what you're doing. Like that's hard too. I think it's hard to eat well, but choose your hard. Like being metabolically unhealthy, having diabetes, heart conditions, all these addicted to medications because you can't get off them. That's really hard. Lifting your body weight, doing 20 push-ups, that's hard too. Choose. You have a choice, and you have to decide, okay, so it's going to be hard either way. Which one sounds better to me? And I know people think the easy way is like, I'm just not going to do anything. And, it won't be that bad. Go to a nursing home and look at the women there, the ones who've broken their hip or, they frail and they're, it's so like, it's such an inspiration for me to be like, that is not how I'm going to age. Not that way. That's the biggest thing. Be your own hero.
I love that. Last question, which is very weird, but what do you want to know for after you die?
What do I want to be known for? What a great question. I think the biggest thing I want is to have inspired people to think differently about the second half of their lives. I think we write it off. We just kind of go, oh, my best years, I was in my 20s and 30s. And I'm like, no, and I want them to be like, oh my gosh, I miss that woman who used to inspire me to take the trip or try something new or believe in myself. Like that is what I strive to encourage women to think about every day. And just, be the best version of yourself. Like if not now, when? So let's go.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Where people can find you, your website, your social media?
Yes, it's very easy. It's Silver Highlights 1971. I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm starting on YouTube. So I have like 50 followers. And my website is Silver Highlights 1971. So you can find me there. And please come and say hi and drop me notes. I love interacting with my followers and learning about them. And it's just, we're building a great little community of women who want to age well naturally.
Yay. We will leave all the information down below in the description box. Thank you so much, Juliana. And
oh my gosh, my pleasure.
And I will send you all the followers to your YouTube. You will have more than 50. Thank you so much.
Jen. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.